Welcome to BCB Live. Yes, we are that safest station in the nation. All right, everybody, and welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive Safe Dave here along with Big Blue. What's going on, Big Blue? How are you doing today?
Doing well, doing well. We got some interesting things to speak about today.
We do have some interesting things to speak about, and one of them's got a little bit, and I always like to throw a little bit of history in. You know, I always like to throw something in the mix because it's good to look back. Sometimes you can see where you're headed when you look back. So here, I got a little bit of a clip for you, Big Blue. I want you to watch this, and everybody out there to kind of get a little bit of look of what I'm talking about happened about how long ago? About 60 years ago.
50 years, yeah.
Okay. Huh?
Yeah.
There is no strife, no prejudice, no national conflict in outer space as yet. Its hazards are hostile to us all. Its conquest deserves the best of all mankind, and its opportunity for peaceful cooperation may never come again. But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too.
All right, B. So 54 years ago, he's made that speech. He had a lot to say. We decided to go to the moon within the decade. They thought it would be impossible. They actually got it done. 54 years ago, these three men landed on the moon, Apollo 11, put the first man on the moon, planted the American flag, and for the first time, we as a race, as a species that we know of, went to another planet, went to another space, went to somewhere else other than this place right here.
What have we gotten out of that?
Man, I'm telling you, the technology that was implemented, the idea, and let me tell you, nationalism was created. I mean, was furthered in a time that it was needed because we were actually being overdone by the Soviets in the space race, and because of it, in doing this, we actually pretty much kicked their butt in 1980s. It came a little bit later with the Star Wars program because of the space age technology that we developed in this time frame. And also it helped put satellites in space that we use today. We use for cell phones. We use for GPS.
But
all the technology.
Got that part, but what have we got out the moon? Was it just a big waste of money hitting the moon?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, well, we got a rock.
No.
We got some dust. I mean, just help me out here.
It's a stepping stone, Brian. It's a stepping. You know, when Columbus first got here, what did they get? Just a bunch of Indians? Because that's what they said they got. But guess what they got? They got the new world. And I'm telling you, space is the new world. You just got to figure out. And
we've been there for 54 years and hadn't got anything out.
No, but you know what? We now have
some dust and a rock.
We have the
54 years, we have a dust and rock, and you saying we're locked and loaded. It took Columbus probably 5 days to get something out of the new world.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, 54 years, a lot of money, and not much come out of the moon.
Absolutely. The technology that was developed, the idea and the promise of the future. Listen, our commitment to further and better ourselves has to be the forefront of what we do for the future of our species, the future of our children. We have to do these things in order to create a better world. Because I can telling you, this is going to be the best launching pad right here for space exploration. You know why? Because you don't have the gravitational pull, you don't have to spend the energy, and you don't have the problems that you have leaving Earth. So if you originate from here, then you can see all kinds of space exploration.
I mean, but another 10 years, you're gone. What are you worried about?
It's the evolution, sir. It is the new, you know what?
You hadn't involved much, so.
I want to look out for our future. But hey, congratulations to the United States for landing on the moon 54 years ago today. We'll be right back. Right at this, we're going to talk a little bit of trucking news. Right after this message, we'll be right back in just a second here on BCB Live.
Safest station in the nation.
There you go. He said it right. All right, we'll be right back.
All right, hey, check it out. Here we are live right here in Mansfield, Texas, our BCB Live studio. What I really love about this place right now are the endless opportunities, the endless ways that you can use this studio.
Hey, welcome back to the 2023 Pickle Parade.
BCB Live, we started out really focused on that transportation, that trucking only. You know, talking about safety, making sure that we're giving that story about safety. We have the ability to do interviews, social media content, sales opportunities. What are you showcasing? What are you doing today that you've got to get that out?
All right, we're back here on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive Safe Dave, along with Big Blue coming in, being the heart. You know what? I get it. You know what? Just hate on the future. Now, gimme. That is the generation you probably fall in, and the generation was the sacrifices made to get to those places. So I understand.
I'm sure you did a lot to get to the moon.
All right, here we go. Hey, let's talk about this. Hey, the UPS, the Teamsters agree to resume talks with ownership at management out at UPS. They agreed yesterday they're going to sit down at the table, probably starting either today or Monday. So they're going to get back to the table. Do you think the deal gets done before the August 1st deadline?
I don't know if it gets done by that time, but they'll probably be given an extension if they're close. Then they'll probably get an extension probably to work it out, and I would say that a deal gets done. But now, since we're speaking on Teamsters, next subject.
Yellow Freight.
Yellow Freight.
Okay, so they defaulted on their...
They've been defaulted.
Yeah, 50 million. 50 million.
50 million as of Saturday night will be 50 million.
Yeah.
And they're proposing, Yellow is proposing to the Teamsters to extend even further. And the Teamsters are putting, from what I understand, what I read is they're putting a hard deadline on Saturday night saying Sunday, because that Sunday their employees, Yellow's employees,
will have to start paying themselves.
Yeah, well, not paying themselves. They have to pay for their insurance at that point.
And
it's roughly around, on average, it's around $500 an employee. 507, I think the article said.
That's huge.
That's a big deal. I'll look for some problems with Yellow, and I don't see a bailout coming. I don't see the government stepping in, fronting the 50 million, because it doesn't look promising for the future of Yellow Freight.
Yeah, and let's be honest, Yellow Freight has had some significant issues other than just this. This has been an ongoing issue with Yellow Freight over the last 10 years.
Yeah, I think the Band-Aids there's too many on there.
Right, I agree.
And it's
dangerous.
It is dangerous, and I want to say that's like 30,000 jobs.
Yeah, it's quite a bit, and it's a lot. I mean, we've had our fair share of shakeups and problems. This is going to be one of the biggest, Yellow Freight, as it goes.
It will be a big one. We'll see how it turns out. I don't see positive news coming out of that. UPS, I say the deal gets done.
I think this gets done.
I say they get an extension, especially Teamsters already working with Yellow Freight as well.
Right.
They're gonna work through it. They're gonna get an extension, and I say it gets done by first week of August, going into the 8th, 7th, 8th. I think we'll have a deal done.
You don't think there'll be a work stoppage though?
No, I think there'll be a.
Because the Teamsters
I
have all
think
agreed. Yeah, they've all said, "Oh, we're stopping work." Okay, but I get it.
I think there's going to be some leniency, and as long as they're close in the next couple of days, they're going to, which I think they will.
I do too.
And then they'll get an extension probably for a week, maybe 2 weeks, to get all the finer details done, and then, probably mid-August to late August, the deal's signed and sealed.
And then we won't have a work stoppage at all, probably.
On the UPS side, yes.
Yeah, I do think that we're going to have issues with yellow.
I foresee issues, yes.
Yeah, but anyway, that's kind of what's going on out there. A lot of people are going to be looking at that over the next few days as we do that and as we talk about it and as we go. I'll tell you what, we'll be right back right after this message. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the weather and about what's going on. I know, Brian, there's not a whole lot of brand new news going on out there.
Hold up. It's just hot.
No, well, let's just see how hot it might be here coming up, and what's kind of going on in the rest of the country, because we do have some flooding going on.
It's actually pretty nice in the rest of the country, but the south and southwest is
we had 14 inches of rain in 1 hour in Kentucky yesterday.
Wow, I did not know.
Oh yeah,
Where was
flooded
that
out just east of Nashville. 14 inches of rain in some areas, and I'm going to tell you.
Can we just get an inch?
We cannot. We'll be right back right after this message. What if it was different?
We get a bad rap from those pesky lawyers. I'm David Dover. The Sledge. It ain't pretty when you get detained at the shipper or receiver for hours on end. How many holidays did you spend over the road away from the family?
Call David Dover, the Sledgehammer, to report a driver that's done something right. All right, everybody, welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave here. Let's talk a little bit about the weather, Brian. What's going on? Now, you were talking about the heat, the southwest, that dome that's sitting over there. We'll talk about a little bit more of that. But look what's happening right outside the dome and what's going on. You're getting thunderstorms pushing through. This is more rain going to be happening as we move forward through today. This is right now, and look at this. These rains are going to continue to swirl above and over this dome, and because it can't really get through to it, it's being trapped here in this high pressure dome, and these rains and these disturbances are going to continue to go east and go west. Go east and north to punish everybody else in the country with some radical thunderstorms.
I don't call that punishment. I call that relief.
Yeah, well, I'm in heavy thunderstorms because some of them there's going to be flash flooding. Look at this dome that I was talking about, this heat dome right here as it sets down. Dallas 102, up in Albuquerque 100. Phoenix, here's a lovely number. They're at what, almost 20 days at above 110 degrees, and over 20 days. It's like a record. Today is the day, like number 20, and they don't see any in the next few days. They're not going to get any lower either. So
don't have a problem cooking eggs.
No, there was like a deal on TV the other day where they had a lady bake bread in her mailbox.
I did see that. I saw that.
And
the bread looked great too. It's
toasted.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah, we're talking about punishing temperatures. Vegas at 111. Somebody told me, well, that's dry heat. Okay.
I'll go check Vegas if you need me to. I'll be on site. I'll be on
site.
a
roving reporter out there in Vegas.
It is hot, guys.
One 15-minute segment a day, Dave. That's what I'll give you, and then I'll be there for all week. But I'm going to tell you, this is going to continue on, Brian. It looks like into next week. You got to pay attention to what's going on. I know we've been talking about hot, Brian.
So if you want miles over the weekend.
Huh?
So if you want miles over
yeah, go west. I'm going to tell you. But listen to me. Most people do not realize that heat is the number one extreme weather condition that kills more people in the United States than tornadoes, than rain, than flood, than hurricanes. Heat kills more people than anything else in the United States.
Did we talk about the tornado in North Carolina?
That was the day before yesterday.
Did y'all speak on that?
Yeah, the tornado that touched down the day before yesterday.
Didn't it hit a big warehouse?
Yeah,
for COVID?
A Pfizer warehouse, a Pfizer warehouse in, I want to say,
It was somewhere in North Carolina. It like
yeah, it tore it up.
it just
Yeah,
destroyed.
and by the way, there's 2 major Pfizer plants in North Carolina. One of them's near Durham, and the other one was over there, and they missed the one in Durham and got that one. So I'm just telling you that, I bet you didn't know that. I actually have a niece that works for Pfizer. That's the reason. I called her when I found out because she works out in North Carolina at the Pfizer facility, but she works at the one in Durham. But I will tell you this, Brian, it does kill, and it doesn't take long to kill, especially in these kinds of temperatures. These heat, you can succumb to bad weather out there very quickly in these kinds of temperatures. It doesn't matter where you are when you get out
I wonder
there.
if that's the average temp for Chihuahua. It seems like that's, I don't pay attention to Mexico far as
Right.
temp. Is that? I wonder if that's like abnormal heat for Chihuahua. Because isn't that kind of mountainous? through
That's
that area?
elevated. Yeah, absolutely. That's mountainous region. That is elevated. And I'm telling you, when was the last time? I mean, that's pretty hot for the Pacific Coast too. 104. I mean, that's a Pacific.
Water's cold.
Water's cold, and it's probably not safe to swim in.
Current is very strong in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. But I will tell you, it is. And by the way, this heat is going to move up this weekend, Brian, up into Utah. They're talking about high hundreds in Utah this weekend. So it is going to be, this is going to stretch around, and it's going to continue to cause problems. By the way, we get very little relief here in Dallas-Fort Worth through the weekend. So
Oh, the next 10 days is
it's devastating.
it's a little rough.
All right, I'll tell you what. Thank you very much for coming and joining us here at BCB Live. We're going to go to our local station here. Brian, thanks for jumping in, Big Blue.
Absolutely. We're not going to talk about the Open real quick.
Did you want to mention the Open?
Just saying.
Okay, yeah.
Scotty Scheffler, I've already checked it. I had this report ready. He's finished even today, which is the #1 player in the world. Roy McIlroy doesn't tee off until 2 o'clock their time, whatever that time is here. And then
He's their fan favorite, by the way.
well, yeah, he's from there.
Yeah.
John Daly shot even today.
Oh, I like
Finished,
that.
already finished. And
I like John Daly.
another Ricky. Dang it, he's from Oklahoma State. Been playing good here
He
lately.
actually won a tournament like
He run
Fowler, Ricky Fowler.
There you go. Ricky Fowler shot 1 under, and I think he's like in the top 5 right now.
In the hunt?
Yeah, absolutely.
playing
and,
really good.
And a guy from overseas, and I did not know this guy. He's leading right now with 5 under. So most of the field's played. Looks like the cut. If I'm going to do a projected cut, I want to do it at 1 under.
1 under. All right, I'm going to
Projected cut.
I'm going to go even. I'll tell you what. Hey, thanks, guys. We'll be back. Thanks for the the British Open update. We'll be back to your local stations right after this message. Thanks for joining us on BCB Live.
Safest station in the nation.
Bye, everybody.